Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. We're going to talk about something that could save you a lot of money, okay? The subject is buyer's regret, okay? Buyer's regret. And I'm not saying I've got any regret, but we've got a picture of a reasonably new vehicle in the video because that's what it's about. Now, we're just going to go through some of the pricing, what's probably going to happen, some of the changes in the vehicles, and some of the feelings that you may have had or may have when you purchase a new vehicle or even a second-hand vehicle that's new to you, especially when perhaps you've got a personal loan or a large loan on it. So I've been around a while. I've had a lot of new vehicles. When I was young, I did purchase near new vehicles at very high interest rates. I think I was paying on my first car. So my first car, let's be clear here, I was smart. I started work early. I was washing cars, mowing lawns, as single digits, and then a teenager. So I had some money. I purchased my first vehicle before I was 18 and owned it. When I was 17, I purchased a boat. It was just a 12-foot tinny, but brand new tinny motor trailer when I was 17, just to give you an idea of how I got ahead at the start. And that's what I think everybody needs to do. So I'm going to try and give you some wise guy advice, trying to help out on probably a bit on the financial side, bordering between the automotive, the vehicle thing, and financial. So when I was I had the XE Falcon, 1982 XE Falcon in 1992, right? So I owned that, picked that up as a trade-in from the dealership I worked at for $3,000, bargain. And I'll tell you what, I regret selling that. Should have never have sold that. The replacement vehicle was a this is about 1991, 92. It was a 94. What was I forget what it was. What was it? It was an ED Falcon XR6 black, fully optioned with a Momo steering wheel and the sunroof, and it was awesome. Okay, and when you're young, you just want things, and you know what? I wish I knew what I knew now then, which is why I'm trying to share the information. So people watching, maybe you want to send this video to your kids and say, look, really watch this video, have a listen before you go ahead and buy that new car or get that personal loan. Now, of course, if you're loaded and you've got plenty of money and your job's 100% secure, or your business or whatever you've got, then this advice may not be for you. And I've got no qualifications as a financial advisor. I can just tell you a lot of things I've learnt. And I think that I've done okay over the years. So 20 years of age, personal loan. I think the loan was $24,000 at 16%. I was paying got a good memory too. I was paying almost $630 a month, if I remember correctly. You can do the sums and work that out. There was probably an application fee and all that sort of stuff, which is a waste of money. There may have been monthly fees, and then if you get wise and you want to pay it off early, yep, there's a fee for that as well for paying it off early. Aren't they so nice? You gave them the business, and because you got organised and you want to pay it off early, they want extra. So I'll give you the tip. What you do, you're okay. There's so much information going to be in this video. You're okay if you don't pay it off. Now, there's a difference between paying extra payments and paying it off. So if you've got a loan of $30,000 on a vehicle, and they said, if you pay it off early, there's an early exit fee, you pay it all off except for $1. You'll save the interest and you won't pay the early exit fee. When you're in trouble and you need to sell the vehicle, that's where it's going to hurt, because you're going to pay that early exit fee. Now, I'll tell you some of my experiences. I've had a number of car loans around that age, early 20s. I don't think I've had a car loan since, let's be accurate here, I don't know that I've had a car loan since the age of 24, so obviously wised up again. How many car loans did I have? 1, 2, 3, I think I had 3. After that, that was it, so 3 cars. We can get to those later in the video, but the important stuff first. And we've got a whole heap of info, like what's going to happen with the price and why you're going to have even more buyer's regret if you don't listen carefully, please. Right, so very expensive. Well, the vehicle pricing wasn't too bad. I think the vehicle pricing was $28,000 or $29,000. It was a good saving. X Ford exec, 40,000 Ks. Sold the XE privately, so that paid about the $5,000 deposit. That's the sort of numbers we were looking at. And of course, because when you're young, you want these things and you want them before you can afford them, and it's exciting and these flash new cars. So I totally understand how you feel. I was there and I did that. But if I had my time again, I wouldn't have purchased that vehicle. Okay, doesn't mean I wouldn't have got a loan later or something like that when I was in more of it. I'll give you a little bit more background. 3rd year apprentice, I think I was taking home about $280 a week. Okay, so on $280 a week, it's not wise to have a a car loan that takes up half your month's, right? The payment was taking more than half of your month's pay. It's just ridiculous when you think it through. You can afford it, but you can't afford it, right? So lucky there's no mortgage or rent, whatever happening, sort of thing. You know, when you're young, you might be lucky and get cheap rent or minimal thing. But I think another message there for the young ones, you need to learn to contribute as well. Don't think everything is going to be free forever. And a message for the parents, each to their own, but I think, you know, just doing it all for free and handing it out doesn't help with the education. I think we need to, you know, teach them by showing them, you know, you need to pay something as a contribution to sort of pay your way. So moving on from there, okay, so been there, done that. Now what happens is buyer's regret. Okay, so if I say okay, so again, it's getting out of control, isn't it? So we'll stop that. What happens, you're all excited, you get the new vehicle, and that's all you care about. And then what happens is, you know, you've got big insurance on it as well because you're young, they want to make more money because you're a higher risk. Doesn't matter how responsible you might be, they see you as a higher risk, you've got no history, blah, blah, blah. So you've got to pay more for insurance. So you got your rego when it comes around, which is up there these days especially. It was all relative to the time really with car expenses. I think that rego's probably gone up a little bit less than a lot of other things, so that's maybe not too bad, but it is quite expensive. You're excited, you're happy, you get the vehicle, but it wears off quickly. Now the first time you do it, it takes longer to wear off, so you're all excited and happy and you love the car for weeks or months. Now a lot of people are going to say, oh, I went and bought a new Prado and I don't have any regret. That's fine. I'm talking about the people that do, or this could happen to you depending on your situation. So the first time you do it, because it's the most exciting the first time you do it, wouldn't you agree? You know, the first time you get that new car and it was just so awesome. So I certainly loved it for months. I don't remember a massive regret this time, but I've got to tell you the stories because I've purchased many new cars. I'm talking dozens of cars. I've had a lot more than dozens of cars, new and used, but dozens of new cars. And I can tell you, the more times you do it, the more boring it gets, okay? So I don't need a new car, that's for sure. The thing is, you can learn to be happy with what you've got as long as it's clean, it's safe and reliable, and it fits the purpose for what you need. In most cases, you don't need a new vehicle. So the first time, you get the biggest buzz, but that's when you can afford it the least and you'll be paying the highest interest rates. So it is hard. And then every now and then you sort of look back and go, oh, maybe I don't know if I should have done that or done that then. Maybe I should have kept the other perfectly good car that I put so many new parts on. It was like a new car that at that price, you know, with all the setup, it had a car phone. Back in the day, that was a pretty up there, right? It had a car phone. We had a 27 meg UHF, AM radio. It had the CB radio. What was that? That was the AM radio back then, yeah. That was before we had the UHFs. That was in later cars. Anyway, it's like that was a giveaway to pay this top price. And then I used to have dreams, okay? So, yeah, dreams about missing this XE Falcon. You know, I'd get it back. Next thing you know, it'd be back in the driveway. Somehow I found the owner and just crazy stuff, isn't it? So, point is, then what happens is the next vehicle and the next vehicle after that, if you're doing okay with your money, you can probably afford it anyway. Look, you know, the replacement of that was, okay, so I went into a Camry after that, so I wanted something more garden variety that blended in, because you can imagine the speeding fines. It wasn't hard to go a few Ks over the speed limit. That's when speed cameras were new, so you could easily get a few speeding fines. And of course, when you drive around in the Falcon or the Commodore with the alloy wheels and that sort of thing, that is, you know, that's your cop bait, right? So the Camry is more garden variety blend in. You could get away with just about anything. Not that I'm saying you're trying to do that, but you just didn't attract the attention to yourself. And there was reasons for doing that at the time. And then once we moved past that period, only a couple of years later, the WRX was the in thing. Early days when I discovered what WRXs were, I sussed those out and I purchased a brand new 1998 WRX. And that was, I think I got it for 42 grand. There you go. So, and the loan was 30 grand on that one. And I think we were down to about 9% because as they get to know you, the interest rate comes down. So this is why you really don't want to get car loans at that early age. Some people will say, but you need to build a history and all that. Well, you do and you don't, because, you know, you can build that with your income and your savings. And you know what? You don't need a car loan. Concentrate on your income, save your money, and purchase the vehicle with the money you've saved rather than get a loan. Okay, just yesterday I was driving and I saw next to me, and I was in the 120, love the 120, right? And there was an old EF Falcon Fairmont gear in that green colour, all the clear was flaking off and it looked terrible, right? But it just reminded me back in the day, it seemed like only 20 years ago, probably was, where, you know, we used to specialise in these vehicles also, so we know a fair bit about those. And if you watch this video, you can ask in the comments and I might even answer and help you out if you've got common, you know, all the common problems with all the Falcons and stuff like that, like you know, through from EAs through to EFs, AUs, whatever the case may be, and even on from there. But at the end of the day, I just went, you know what, there's a car worth $1,000, probably 3,000 at the moment. The guy is cruising, he's happy, you know, it's a Fairmont gear. Back in the day, that was a luxury vehicle, so had all the buttons and the bling, the electric windows, the alloy wheels, and I went, you know what, you know how much better he is for only spending a few grand on a vehicle instead of going and getting a loan for 30 grand or whatever the case may be. Remember, you got higher insurance with a more expensive flash bling car, and this is where the regret can come in when you realise what all your costs are, and then the love wears off. So this lust you've had for the new vehicle, it wears off, and the more times you do it, and I've done it a number of times, it gets shorter. So let's say the last new vehicle I purchased, I think the lust has worn off after a day or two, but I don't buy it because I'm in love with it and I need it and I'm needy and whatever. I have the vehicles we have is because we are Prado Hilux specialists. We travel, we use a lot of products and the vehicles traveling. We need to test products, we need to have the vehicles to learn on, to practice a lot of the, you know, there's a lot of product fitment testing. So there's reasons why we have what we have. We're different to everybody else. So this is a case of, I know monkey see, monkey do, but I'm telling you, do as I say, not as I do, because I'm different to you. And it even rhymes. I'm like a poet and I didn't know it once again. But look, I hope you get what I mean. Just a little bit now on pricing. Pricing is going to go up, of course. Price rises, price rise. They just keep going up, 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 up. We're in record inflation. We're not going to talk in this video about why that is. It's quite obvious. It's very hard to understand, but once you get your head around it, it's really so simple, and it's been going on for decades and decades and years, you know, since in the, you know, look, I wasn't around, I'm going to say in the 1900s, since I've been around, you know, around the mid-70s, that's when a big part of it really ramped up, the inflation, you know, and it's just gone on from there, and it's got to end somewhere. So now, I'll say it again, probably not a good time to buy a new vehicle. My advice would be if you've got a good vehicle that you're happy with, I would say you should keep it. It's always cheaper to spend a bit of money and do the maintenance on the older vehicle, keep it going and wait, keep saving your money. And look, sometimes you can't save as fast as things go up, and that's where you need to focus on the work you're doing to improve what you do. All you've got to do is do something well and you'll be successful, whether it's a job or a business, whatever the case may be. That's what you need to focus on, not what you want. They'll say that you need to have a target, you need to have goals, and you need to have this and that, and if you don't do this and that, it'll only ever be a dream, it'll never come, and all this kind of crap, right? You just need to focus on following your passion. Do something right, do something you love doing, and it'll work out for you. That's what I think. Careful of the buyer's regret. So let's just take a step back. So a few cars back, let's say 10, 15 years ago perhaps, a little bit of excitement to get a new car, you get the new car, and then you look at, it all depends on your financial position, how much money you've got tied up in the vehicle, and if you've got a loan or not. Even if you don't have a loan, you can have regret. Look, we know people that have got a lot of money, they do really well in business, and they go and purchase, you know, 200 series Saharas or whatever, and they may get the, you know, half the AOB shop added to it. They spend all this money, and a lot of people love it, and they don't think twice, but they might get caught out one day. Some people do think about it, and it's a lot of money, and this is a big regret, and they look to other people for justification. What do you reckon? You know, it doesn't really matter what anybody else reckons. I'll give you another tip before we finish this one up. Nobody cares what you've got and how nice if you've got that colour, and they don't. Well, I don't think they shouldn't be judging you on what vehicle. They'll judge you on other things. There's plenty of judges out there, but what I think matters is that they don't care about what you've got, what car you've got, what accessories you've got, okay? Now, some people might be jealous, just be careful of that, but people generally don't care. They'll say good on you, whatever, but, you know, as soon as they, you know, thanks mate, good to see you today, see you, nice car, see you, They don't give a stuff about your car, so don't bother buying or do anything for anyone else. It's for what you need for you, okay? And if you've got a 120 Prado 2008, I love it. You're awesome, because I just think they're 2009 lasted the best. Look, I really like the 120, so I think if you've got a 120, you should stick with it. All the 150s are good vehicles as well, you know. But, you know, prices are going to go up. I think that if people just stop buying things and just balance their spending a bit, have a budget and wait, possibly there could be some downward pressure on a lot of things, because I think there could be I don't want to use the word collapse in this video. So I don't know what I think we'll end it at that. I hope you get my drift. Buyer's regret is what we're going to call this video. Bit of chit chat. Hopefully it's a little bit insightful for some people. Maybe some of the younger ones, like I said, share it around if you think it might help someone understand the situation of the feeling, because buyer's regret, you know, and once you've done it, you're kind of there, your old car's gone, it's too late, you've got the loan, you've already paid the application fee, you're already paying the monthly fees, you're already paying the interest. The other thing to think about, the more you invest into a vehicle, if you buy a $50,000 vehicle or a $80,000 vehicle or a $120,000 vehicle, the more you've got to lose. Depreciation, it's called, okay? So not only are you paying the interest, you're still paying the same running costs as your old vehicle. You've still got to service it. You've still got to put tyres. You've still got to pay the rego. You've still got to pay the insurance. But because of the high value you've put, you're paying interest, perhaps, and depreciation. And when you do things like, for example, four-wheel drive in the picture, when you take it out on the tracks, all those overgrown tracks and those pinstripes, it hurts. Your day's not as enjoyable when you can hear that up the side of the paintwork as it is in that 10 or 15-year-old Prado, okay? So just think about that. Of course you look after your vehicle either way, but when you've got an older vehicle with some wear and tear on it, it's much more enjoyable, and you want, to be quite honest, I don't worry at all when I hear pinstripes on any vehicle, but there is a thought with a vehicle like the one in the picture, you do go, ooh, you know, a little bit like that, and then it's moving forward. I just get over it really quick, because, you know, it's like the old saying, there's no point crying over spilt milk. What's done's done. You need to learn from your mistakes or what you've done. Maybe you don't take it out on, and then maybe you don't buy that vehicle, see? So anyway, prices are going to go up. I think engines are going to change, hybrids, electric. There's a big push towards EV. I'm not saying whether that's going to save the planet or whatever. I think it's too late. But anyway, that's another story, and we're not going to go that far on this channel. This is a little bit off topic. If you watch to the end, if you can let me know in the comments what you thought, and smash the like button if you liked it, subscribe, turn the bell on. We're going to be, in this climate, the way things are with finances and things, people need to start thinking. And I've decided it might be a bit off topic. We're going to talk more about stuff like this and stuff completely off topic. Like if you've got a credit card, make sure you pay the statement balance every month, not a day late. The statement balance, not the minimum payment. You're paying top interest. It's going to put yourself behind. You're better off not using credit cards, and all these pay later systems, they're not good either. They're there to make money. Some businesses might be running cheap and running lean, and I think they've got to introduce these things to help people, and that's great. But at the end of the day, it's just all the other customers are paying and all that. I suppose, you know, that's all right as well, I suppose, if they can afford it. But you really need to have a budget. You need to sit down and work out your income, what your costs are. You need to lay it all out and go, this is what we need, and you might need to cut a few things out. There's so many things we're all wasting money on, and we can reduce it, which saves money, it saves stress. You're just going to be happier. I'm out of here. Work out what a minimalist is in the meantime, and catch you on the next one. See you guys.